YouTube right now. Hello, everybody. This is Victor. I'm here with Edilton today, and we're talking about The Handmaid's Tale, not just the novel or the TV show, but issues related to the whole universe of this production. So, starting with the first question, on what basic principle should society be based? The needs of individuals or the needs of the state? What do you think, Edilton? What's more important for you?
It's a very good question. I think the base of society needs to be balanced in the individual needs and state needs. In some cases, it's important the state be in first place because the state is the basis of society. The infrastructure of the state is necessary to the individuals become yourselves, can use your rights and can exercise your rights often. So, uh, this question is important because nowadays we can watch a lot of conflicts in several countries about the situation. Some societies and the needs of the states higher than the individual is similar to a dictatorship, but the society then needs of individuals is above the needs of state is strange of the people are very sane, can do anything, but it's lack of responsibility. It's a very interesting situation to analyze both of situations.
Yeah. And I think if you work really hard on the needs of the individuals, uh, indirectly, we're gonna have a state more strong because the people in there receive more, people are being well paid, people have a good quality of life. So that means they're gonna do a lot of effort to just maintain the economy running, to work, and to keep dreaming, to keep planning, to keep buying things. So I think if we work in the needs of the individuals, of course, we do need to work in the needs of the state to maintain itself, because a state needs a territory, needs an economy, needs the military development, and it needs to make sure that it will exist in the international system. But at the same time, I think if we direct the entire focus to the state level, we're gonna forget that there are people living and we're talking about lives. So it's not that simple, because one state can be really strong in terms of, I don't know, its economy, or maybe its importance to a specific thing. Like we see oh, I just forgot how to say this in English. But let's suppose a country have a big amount of petrol. I don't know how to say this in English. So it's rich, but if this state cannot administrate this, then it doesn't matter, because the money, the things are not really getting inside of the country. So what's the real matter? So I think it's important to focus more in the individual level. Yeah, like Venezuela for an example. And we do have another countries in Asia, or even Brazil with the Pressal, but we don't really invest in bringing this money to our society. So yeah, that's my answer. So now it's about the show. We have a big question here. I think it's season one shows a case in which an ambassador of a certain country expresses her desperation to find a solution to the low birth rate in your country. No woman has been pregnant for years. To this end, She seeks to sell handmaids from the USA to her country. Is it fair? Could a country live without new people being born? What do you think, Agito? Is it fair to buy people to get pregnant, to make child?
No, no, it's not fair. But in our history, this situation happened. A lot of slaves is sold to Brazil, is brought by Portugal, and a good, good quantity is used to simply put new descendants, and these descendants is becoming slaves. This situation is part of our history in a lot of countries in the world. And the second, uh, would a country live without new people being born? No, it's impossible a country continue to live without new people born.
Yeah, yeah,
A healthy
that,
society creates a plan to the new generations can be born to maintain the society. I will give two examples. The first example is the Denmark. Denmark is a first world country that it suffers with a low birth rate, and the government creates a motivation. This motivation is if the people, if the couple uh, gave a child, the government pays 3 years of uh, tax. I don't know what to say, bonus in English, but the government will pay 3 years of taxes to the people can use to pay the, the bills about the creation of the baby creation. And other point, important point is in the Denmark, the schools are public, the hospitals are public, so the couple did not get a lot of bills to pay. The government take care a lot of parts of the creation. But I will give all the example that's opposed to the first one. In South Korea, there is suffering with a decrease of population. Uh, Unfortunately, South Korea is a worse place to work because a lot of companies uh, put the uh, uh, how do you say carga horária de trabalho, work hours, a lot of work hours to the workers, and it is causing decreasing the reproduction tax for the country. And the women, the women in South Korea is paid less than the men. Does not matter your role or your qualifications. So these two factors is causing a disturbance in the population of the country. And until now, does not exist a solution for that.
yeah, yeah. I think I'm really aligned to your answer. I think a country could live without new people being born, and maybe it could create policies for people to get pregnant and to raise children, or maybe they could open the borders for immigrants, for an example, and create policies that makes it attractive to go to the country. So maybe that could be a solution. If we take like the USA example, there's a lot of Latin immigrants in there, and they are the ones who are working really hard in the sectors that the Americans don't like that much and don't pay really well. And they're the ones who are getting children, who are, you know, getting pregnant. So that could be a solution as well. But I'm not sure if it's right to treat people like that. I'm just gonna attract people to my country so they are gonna get pregnant to make the economy works. I don't know, it's so complicated. Mm, but I don't think it's fair to sell people to get pregnant, and it's not really right. It's horrible, it's terrible. It's the worst solution in the world, and I hope in the future people don't make it. And even nowadays, I hope they stop doing it because there are some people being, how do I say, human traffic. There are some movements that make something similar to it, selling bodies people, and I don't think that's right. So let's go to the third question. What's the connection between expected societal roles for women and the level of respect and power they are issued? So what's the connection, Edilton? Do you know?
Let me see. What's the connection between the technical role and okay, okay. Some countries the women is respect only for your societal roles that it can be good. In some countries is very sick situation. For example, in Iran, the women did not is prohibited that she they cannot go to the football stadium to watch a soccer play or did not go to the shop alone. In some cases, uh, the women can be arrested if we use tools that a part of the body is appearing. I have an example interesting about that. There is in Brazil a Iranian refugee called Masma Nadim. I don't know if you do you know. Masma tells in several videos in YouTube about the regime in Iran, and in one of the situations that she was in on street, she will get arrested for the police because she used to paint and a part of the leg disappearing. And the Iran policy consider disrespectful is a crime to the women use that clothes or show parts of the body. And the question is can be explored and can be all the examples in several societies about that.
Yeah, yeah, I think it makes sense. And in some cases, women are just respected if they fit the role they are issued. So let's suppose a country or even a culture that it's more traditional. So a woman need to dress up like a respectful woman for them. So they are respected by the things that they do, not because they are a human being, but if they pray, if they follows the rule, if they are traditional woman, if they cook, so they are respected by that. And in the TV show and actually in the book, there's a really curious scene that shows that the pregnant woman, they received a different treatment from the elders. So if you're pregnant, you are not punished for the things that you do, and you don't really get hit by the others. People respect you more. And if you disobey them, you're not treated in the same way that the others are. So if you're pregnant, you're really lucky in there because they treat you like a god. So, but that's just it. If you're not pregnant, then you are nothing but something to be used. And I think in some societies it works like this. If you as a woman are really following the rules that society made for you, so we are gonna respect you. But if you don't follow it, then we're gonna hate you and we're gonna do everything to destroy you, baby. So question number 4 asks, most women are forbidden to read in the Gilead, and even the Bible is kept under lock and key. Why do you think this is? Is reading a revolutionary practice? If we all stopped reading, what would happen to the world? This is a really funny question, and I do think reading is a revolutionary thing. Not really just reading, but learn things. And when we're reading, our brain is able to do things and to imagine things and to think in a way really smart. So if we stop read, I think it could happen really lack of creativity, a lack of development, and a lack of a lot of things. So I do think the world would just break if we stop reading. And I don't know, because reading makes us in a position of change. So maybe when we're reading something, your brain is thinking about a lot of things, and then it could make you think in a certain way, and then could make you change your position. It could make you, I don't know, change the things that you believe. So reading, it's really important to exist in the world. But what do you think, Ajuta? Is it fair what I said, or reading is just another common thing?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. There is no logic that is not power. But I will go in other. When I talk about the Bible, I I can see two different situations: the Ancient Testament, the New Testament. The Ancient Testament is the God's ruler, the killer. She govern all the people, etc. But the New Testament, the main actor is Jesus. Jesus is about love, about tolerance. So if the Magistel in the series read the Bible, you think you notice that half the women is being manipulated by the government. So the strategy is just don't read anything because you cannot be able to do some questions or understand the alienation and be capable to fight about this intolerance. I don't I don't watch the series. I did not watch the series, but I will do that because I'm interested for the thematics, the dialogue here, and the history about the creation of book is very interesting. I no, I never imagined that also will do a research, will create a study a lot and create a system, interesting system, but dystopian also. Very good to
Yeah, I
explore
really
more.
recommend it. I'm not forcing anything, but it's really good. I think you won't get disappointed by this story of the quality of it, and it's really great. So, can an individual live out his or her own utopia, or must all utopias be instituted as a society? I think nowadays you cannot live in a different way because in order to do that, you have to give up working or, the way that we live, it's not possible to live in a different one. We have to work to get money, to buy things, to survive. You have to, I mean, you can be homeless or you can choose maybe not to work, but there will be consequences. So I can't say this in reality. You creating a new way of living or maybe trying to change the whole system. One person could not do this. Not anymore, not, I mean, it's really complicated. Utopias. Maybe in your own brain, in your room, you can live your utopia. But outside, you need to play the game the way that everyone does, which is working and buying things and selling your body to the capitalism. And yeah, that's it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good question. The answer is a fish only knows about your strength or weakness when you swim against the current. In- An individual live out in your utopia is exactly that. You live in a society with a lot of rules, procedures, and renegade of that to renegade of that for a vision or research about your sense is the most challenging uh, thing that a person can do. And today I have two examples. The first example is Eduardo Marinho. I don't know if you know about Eduardo Marinho. Eduardo Marinho is a artist that abandon your family and decide to live alone on the streets. We talk about your life and your research about the sense of your life. Search about a vision, a proposal. Is an interesting way to study. I do recommend you uh, research about Eduardo Marinho. In your immersion, you use this subject. I will put in the chat something about it, something about that. You really like because today he is considered an activist, philosopher, and he is an author too, with a lot of content. You really you meditate about your life. The other example is funny, but there is similar. Is Monarch. Do you know Monarch? That is a YouTuber. Really? Do you know Monarch? He's
No.
a Monarch is a famous YouTuber that he streamed in the podcast called Flow. YouTube. He's smoking weed a lot. And today he's living in the US like an anarchist. He thinks the state is can be destroyed for he lives on libertarian philosophy. And simply the individual is the center of it all, and the state is reduced to zero. Is the only example that you can study. You have a lot of philosophy, less, ou seja, você vai rir bastante das coisas que ele fala. But is a very very interesting examples, and you can analyze and put your next immersion.
Okay, just send me in the chat and I'll check it out later. So question number 6 asks, higher class members of society are given names, but even those don't appear to be the real ones. Handmaids are expressly forbidden to be called by their names and are instead named after the commanders who won them. What does the changing of names achieve in Gilead society? Are you attached to your name? If you change it, would it imply any personality or behavior changes? This question is really interesting. Um, I'm not sure if I'm attached to my name. I like it. I like to be called Victor, and I appreciate it when people call me Victor. But if I change it, I don't think I would change who I am. It's just the name at the end of the day. Um, but I think in that society, let's suppose you know or idiotom, to just explain how it works. If you have a handmaid, this handmaid will be called of idiotom, you know? I don't know if it makes sense for you. And if I have a handmaid, uh, it will be called of Victor because it's mine, technically. So I think in that case, yes, it can be really damned to change the name of somebody because the main character, which is called June, she isn't June, she is Alfred because Fred is the one who wants her. And then she changes the name when she goes to another place and she becomes of Joseph because Joseph is the one who wants her. And it's just, and it keeps changing. She doesn't have a name. She don't exist technically. So in that society, I think it could be really, I don't know, it could change something. But now, if I change my name to Lucas or to Naud or to, I mean, I don't want to change it, but I don't know. What do you think, Joto? Would you change your name?
Isa família. Vai. Ai. Aí eu. É o Ju Casey Balas. Very interesting case now. My name is Edu. Okay. But a lot of teachers did not tell me my name correctly. One of that calling me this was Adair, Tota, other teacher called me Adilson. I simply I did not care about this. I thought it's fine, life goes on, that's okay. And the most strange case is a neighbor that become Maurício. I don't know what the fuck I call Maurício for this neighbor. But yeah, Maurício, tudo bom? My name is not Maurício, my name is sorry, sorry. 2 months later, hey Maurício, tudo bom? Oh my god. It's strange, this situation. In a real situation, in, I have a possibility to change my name. I mean, I don't, I don't matter about this. I don't import yourself. I don't care about that. I change my name, that's okay. But there's a real situation that you need to change your name. When you travel to China and decide to live in there, it's very common to the people, the immigrant change your name for Chinese version. And when Chinese people pass do business with the people in the West or living in other country, he uses Western names to uh, the communication became easier. It's easy interesting. The people installed One and changed your name para Vitória Zane. In the experience is very common that the vendor use a Western name and when you ask about your real name, it's totally different Chinese.
Yeah, yeah. And now thinking about it, I think in my case it wouldn't make a difference. But let's suppose I transgender people. I think it makes a lot of difference when you do your transition, or even when you don't want to be called by a name that is associated with a gender, so you want to change it. I think it makes a lot of difference because I don't know, when you say your name, it shows that you are not this gender, or you don't feel attached to it, or you don't identify yourself as it. So in that case, it would be really helpful and important and necessary. But in general, for me, and if for people who are a cisgender, I think it wouldn't change that much. So let's go to question number 7. It's the bigger one. Juton, could you please read this question? I'm tired of reading all the questions. Now it's your turn.
Okay,
Could
okay.
you? Okay,
Oh, yeah.
thanks.
Second question. In the hands may tell to be homosexual is gender traitor, a perceived crime which results, unless of course you are a flashed form. In the existence you are red tagged forced into the bank and have sexual relation with a person of the same gender is punishable by death penalty. 11 countries are in the world. Yes. According to a president TV show. How do we read far from the society? So the question. No. Is there any worth argument to kill someone because in their sexual orientation? No. Simply in that countries is a fundamentalism in religions, and this is the main motive that people are punished by sexual orientation. Iran is a main example. The people is simply uh, what can I say, dedurada por bem, inspired by the unfamiliar to the government, and the government will do the punishment. And sometimes the punishments are public, but the criminal in a place and we celebrate the death around all the population. Very, very horrible. But today, 21st century, that disgrace continues to happen. Other example is Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is very common to torture and kill homosexuals. In Russia, there's a different situation. It's prohibited to the people to speak about homosexuality and can be arrested. So many homosexual Russians travel to other countries to live, and their families in that situation give all the support for that. Different in the two first examples.
Yeah, yeah. And my answer to both questions are no. We're not far from this reality, and it isn't any worthy argument valid to this situation to kill somebody just because of their sexual orientation. And I just don't understand it, but at the same time I do because they don't believe it's right. But I just I don't want to understand it, killing somebody just because of their sexual orientation. I don't want to say that it's okay in some cases because it isn't okay. And even in the countries that don't kill legally them, they are being killed. So even in here in our country and several others, people are being killed because of their sexual orientation, because of their gender identity, and because of their sexuality. So that's really a big issue in society. And yeah, that's hard. And question number 8 finally asks, What motivates resistant groups to take risks for individuals? Would you risk yourself for any societal cause? Would you, Edilton, risk yourself for something like the animals, or maybe the nature, or maybe, I don't know, the workers of the sector of, I don't know, would you risk yourself?
In some cases, I will risk myself. I do prefer uh, take risks and do resistance using internet. And I have a wish to get a knowledge about hacking and do hack activism. Is a important strategy to do activity today because of the people connected in the internet is is very effective and you can be anonymous and some people use this strategy for fight for your cause. I will give one example about this fight. Today there is a group that create operating system based on Linux. Do you know Linux?
Winter song?
Linux operating system.
Yeah, yeah, I do.
Okay. There's a distribution based on Linux called Tail. It's 100% anonymous. These distributions made because in some places we need to do activism and escape for the government. The main strategy use core network to message, have access to data. So it's a good form to do act. Some cases you will need to risk your life in a protest, but today is more most effective in using digital tools to do that.
Yeah, yeah, agree. So I'm not sure if I would risk myself to any calls. At the same time, I would, like for the dogs. I hate people mistreating them. And but I'm not sure how because there are a lot of street dogs in here and I'm doing nothing to help them. So it's really complicated to say that I would give my life to a cause. But if it comes to the case in which I could change something for real, and I think I would risk myself. I don't know when or why or how, but I would. So we just have some minutes. So let's go to question number 10. I think it's more interesting. The Handmaid's Tale was first published in 1989, 85, I'm sorry. Yet in recent years, it has returned to the bestseller charts, and women around the world have donned handmade costumes to attend protests against the rolling back of women's rights. Why do you think the story of Gilliard is still so relevant today? Why, Egidio, is it so relevant even nowadays that we have achieved something in society for women? And I mean, why is it relevant today to think about the story?
Yeah, yeah, I consider relevant because today you live that stupid, that stupid utopia of you you can watch in that moment a country doing some stupid or a country creating issues, oppressing your people. I mean, a lot of countries. Venezuela is um exemplo. Is a country near Brazil, neighbor, in the same country, and which has a dictator. The people became hungry, facing a lot of needs. And one teacher of the talk is from Venezuela. I will, a good moment I will talk about that. I will create more intimacy to talk, ask this question because it's very horrible to talk about the situation like that. And other example is the art is a model in the people. When you watch the same type of art or you can contemplate the lesson that a movie or a book can bring to you, you can watch the reality and be capable to do your reflections and sometimes fight for some cause. When you read a book like that, you can watch today in some countries this situation happen, and you can use that book to fight against that. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. I think I really agree with you. And even nowadays, there are some similarities related to the movie that we can see in society. So it makes us to think of to make a, I don't know, connection between the reality presented in the TV show or in the book and the reality presented in real life. So is there something that we could associate with? And then I think it's relevant because especially when we talk about women, fertility, and abortion or pregnancy, there's a lot of taboo, there's a lot of rules that women needs to follow. And I think it's important to make this connection to the TV show because it is an extreme, of course. It is a huge, horrible universe, but it's not really different in terms of what we expect for women. So I think it could be bring to the nowadays conversations. And that was my answer. And that was all because we have no time to keep talking. And I just want to receive this final minutes to say thank you for you, Edilton, to coming and to talking, to sharing your views with me. It was really great. And yeah, that was really good to talk about it with you and with this cute cow. I think it's a cow, right? It seems like something else, but it's a cow.
Yeah, cowboy. I will put my nickname cowboy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I would like to thank for you too. I like your immersion because it's deeper subjects equal to fake in English and fake with wisdom. It's important to be a language learning with deeping understanding about the reality because in a real situation, I need to talk about this context with the people. So it's important also.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that. And I hope to see you here again, okay? I will wait
Okay.
for you. Okay,
Yeah.
so thank you, Edith, and have a good night.
Thank you. Good night. Bye.